Now, most atoms of most elements are content with their lot in life. We speak of them as being stable, but others are busy day and night, being what science calls radioactive. Like radium, throwing off powerful rays along with some of its neutrons and protons, until it actually alters its own nuclear structure.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And in this episode, we're going to have a look at what should be a good thing, but ultimately will be appallingly bad because the government are announcing it. And we know how useless governments are at everything. But it's all to do with Boris Johnson today announcing that Britain is going to build 8 nuclear power stations. Not in my lifetime. It has taken 30 years to build Sizewell C. Planning objections, change of design, government intolerance to this, the environmental lobby for that. Oh, and all of a sudden they think they're going to build 8 nuclear power stations. I'm going to say now it's a start, because if everyone went electrical for all their cars and the government gets its wish that gas is no longer used to heat houses and that we all use just electricity to heat our houses, we're going to need those 8 nuclear power stations. In fact, we're going to need 36 at least. So 8 isn't really going to cut it. And like I say, given how long it takes to build one, we're probably looking 300 years from now. Who knows? Anyway, we'll take a look at this piece and then laugh at Boris. So here's the piece. It's from Breitbart and the headline says really what I've just said. UK to build 8 nuclear power plants, expand offshore oil production in energy security push. Yeah, because Britain has got a lot of oil, it's got a lot of coal, it's got a lot of gas. And we could get it all out if it wasn't for one tiny problem. The Green Lobby. And we've today had a bunch of weird, sad people who really ought to be prosecuted for terrorism, attempting to close down oil processing factories and refineries and things like that. So, I mean, they should have been arrested, hauled off, up against the courts, 30 years each for terrorism. But they're too stupid for words. Oh, we can close down oil, we'll never use oil again. Petrol's a waste product. Most people understand this. Petrol engine was invented to use petrol because there was no other use for petrol. Which is one of the problems you have when everyone says, oh, okay, we'll get rid of all the cars that burn petrol. What are they going to do with the petrol? Where are you going to put it? Because if you just leave it to evaporate into the air, that's actually worse than burning it. And if you try to store it anywhere, wow, that's not safe. And there's going to be a lot of petrol. So until you come up with some viable use of petrol, really the best thing you can do is shove it in your car and drive places. Anyway, moving away from that into this article. So this was announced today by this idiot. Don't call him Bojo, it's more Bozo really. But anyway, the British government will seek to construct 8 nuclear power stations and expand domestic oil production in order to ensure energy security amid the global crisis. And indeed we should. And we should open up the coal mines and get fracking. And say, screw it. Because if we close down if we close down this country tomorrow, all the difference it makes to the world is that. Meanwhile, China carries on building coal power stations left, right and centre. So if we actually go and say, I tell you what, the energy security of this country is the primary concern of this government, they'd just open all this shit up and go, right, let's have lots of energy. Make it cheap, give it plentiful. Let's not have people freezing to death. Let's not constrict our industries. But they won't do that because the tiny lobby that is Boris's wife has said, no, Boris, you can't do that. Anyway, Prime Minister Boris Johnson's long-awaited energy strategy will include a major shift towards nuclear power and open up oil exploration in the North Sea in a tacit admission that so-called green energy sources will not be enough in order to secure energy security. Well, duh. You'd actually have to cover the entire country in solar cells to generate that power. Meanwhile, you won't be growing any food. Stupid people. The government said that it wants to see a significant acceleration of nuclear with the aim of producing 24 gigawatts of energy from nuclear by the year 2050, or about a quarter of the nation's projected electricity demand. Yeah, and nuclear is clean. This is the whole point. And modern nuclear power stations are actually quite safe. They're actually designed to fail safe, not fail dangerous. Chernobyl, old design, failed dangerous because in order to make it safe, you had to put energy rods in. But the actual inputting of those rods caused a spike in output. So it could fail at that moment and it would fail catastrophically. And did. Whereas modern ones fail safe, where they're actually built with the energy control rods in, and the only way you increase it is to pull them out. And the default position is that they're in. You don't get runaway reactions. Oh, look, something's gone wrong. What's happened? It's closed down. Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, we can't start it again. It's going to be a bugger. Yeah, we don't care about that. You want it to fail safe. So all this lobby going, oh, anti-nuke, anti-nuke, anti-nuke. Rubbish. That'd be stupid. But they are stupid. Anyway, the strategy said that it will come with the creation of a new government body dubbed the Great British Nuclear, and will see an investment of 120 million Future Nuclear Enabling Fund. 120 million? That'd barely pay for the car park. To facilitate the safe, clean, they must mean billion. That's got to be a misprint. 120 million. There's no way. Anyway. The government said that it will plan to open up 8 reactors this decade. Are you kidding me? No way. They're lying. This decade being what? The 2020s. That's 7.5 years to build 8 reactors? Nah. You see, this is the trouble. It's an announcement for government. Oh, this sounds good. I'll be able to do this. This will keep me in power for another year. Unachievable. Anyway, the government said this decade, saying that the accelerated pace will see the equivalent of 1 new reactor per year compared to the previous 1 per decade rate. 1 per 30 years. Sizewell B to Sizewell C took 30 years. A new round of licensing for oil and gas projects in the North Sea is also to be launched this autumn, with the government saying it is important to recognise the importance of these fuels to the transition and to our energy security, and that producing gas in the UK has a lower carbon footprint than importing it from abroad. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Any idiot can tell you that, except the Greens, because they're not even idiots. They're cretinous. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said, we're setting out bold plans to scale up and accelerate affordable, clean and secure energy made in Britain for Britain, from new nuclear to offshore wind, in the decade ahead. He's living in cloud cuckoo land. This will reduce our dependence on power sources exposed to volatile international prices we cannot control, so we can enjoy greater energy self-sufficiency with cheaper bills. I can do that. Brilliantly. What I'd do is I'd open up the coal mines. Then you'd have lots and lots of cheap energy. However, the green-minded Conservative not the green-minded Conservative government, Mrs. Boris Johnson, said that it hopes that 95% of electricity in Britain will be low carbon by the year 2030. Not a chance. Through new investments in solar power. Not a chance. Which said it hopes to increase 5-fold by 2035. They're talking out of their hat. The strategy called for a new ambition of attaining 50 gigawatts in energy from offshore wind by the end of the decade. Possible, but it'll cost an awful lot of money, and the energy required in making that will be more than it will generate. Because obviously you've got to dig the raw materials out of the ground, transport the raw materials, process the raw materials to get your metals and the useful materials. You then transport those to somewhere else so that you can process them and make the product. Then you've got to transfer them somewhere else and to build the product. Then you've got to take that product and move it somewhere else. And then you do the install. Then you do the connections. And then you run it. And then you have to maintain it because they don't last forever. And then you generate your energy. And given 25 years lifespan, what you've generated isn't as much energy generated as it's cost to actually put the thing there. But then it's finished. You have to take it down. So that's more cost and energy. Move it. Reprocess it. And junk it. So 4 times as much energy has gone into creating it as it'll ever produce in its entire life. Tell me, how is that green? I don't understand. Energy policy by governments. Stay connected, kids. They'll screw you one way if they're not screwing you another. Anyway, indeed, the government has even admitted that the announcements today will do little to curb the soaring fuel and electricity prices. It'll do nothing. You're right to say the strategy is more of a medium term. Medium? 40 years. Minimum. But that doesn't mean we can't address this. Well, fine, address it, but not for me, not for my kids. For my grandchildren, maybe. And you can actually do more today by opening up the coal mines. These people are morons. I can't believe these people are that stupid. I don't know why I can't believe it. We all know it. Anyway, look at him. I'm wearing a hat to make me look like I know what I'm doing. Yeah, he hasn't got a clue. Anyway, I'll come up and we'll round off. Can't be dealing with this idiot too much longer. Yeah, so big announcement from Boris, but it just confirms that we're living in an idiocracy. He's given unachievable goals, impossible targets, and fairy tale reasons for not doing other things. Sure, I agree we need energy security. It's national security. Energy security is a national security concern. But the time frames he's using are ridiculous. And he's doing it because he wants to look big on the stage and, oh, you know, look at me, blah, 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 blah. Boris, you're talking a load of old rubbish, mate. I don't think I will see a new nuclear power station go online within 10 years. Never mind 8. I don't think we'll see one in 10 years. Hold me to that. Anyway, if you like what you see and hear on this channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell for future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, and goodbye.